Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, we'll be discussing Leeds United's long-awaited return to Wembley. But before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very much appreciated and it goes a long way with me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 300 subscribers. Can we go and get my new target, 500? Let's go smash it, shall we? Just want to say a massive thank you for the recent support on our most recent episodes, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. Definitely is going to noticed, and yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you, really. But let's get straight into the episode, shall we? Now, Leeds United make a long-awaited return to Wembley after 39 years, after beating West Ham United on penalty shootouts, okay, at the weekend. Honestly, this must be one of the best games I've watched of football in the whole year, okay? Honestly, I'm not going to lie, this might be the most entertaining game. It literally had everything you'd want in this game. It had shots galore, chances galore, late drama from every player involved. Okay, honestly, I could not believe what I was witnessing, and it all came after the 90th minute, after the game was finished. Like that's where all the drama was, getting underway. I couldn't believe what was happening because at the start of the game it was all West Ham. They was creating so many chances, but they just couldn't get the goals. They couldn't get the ball over the back of the net. Sorry, and it was looking more likely that West Ham would go on and potentially get that first goal of the game. However, Leeds United scored in the 25th minute from the Japanese midfielder Tanaka. Okay, and for me, I have liked him this season. Of course, he scored 4 goals for Leeds United throughout the season, so he's a nice little midfielder in there. He has sort of helped them when they needed to. He could probably get 1 or 2 more goals, but obviously coming in from the Championship, I'm pretty sure they signed him from there. He's a pretty good midfielder. He's sort of adapted to the Premier League quite well, hasn't he? And in this game, he was so busy. He was all over the place in midfield, bossing it, and that's where he got that well-deserved goal in the 26th minute. Okay, so nice little delivery from the left-hand side of the box, and then Sananka sort of takes one touch to move the ball away from one of the defenders, and then he's got another defender in front of him, but he just shoots it straight to the far post, and it goes straight past Areola and goal. Okay, they weren't really creating that many chances to begin with. Like I mentioned, it was all West Ham at the start of the game, and that sort of gave them the momentum to sort of go on and push for that second goal in the 75th minute. Okay, obviously a little controversial decision with the penalty. Was it a penalty? I don't know. Maybe was it a little bit soft? We'll have to let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. For me, I think it definitely was a penalty. But you got to think to yourself now, who's gonna step up to the big occasion when you need him to? It's always gonna be Dominic Calvin-Lewin. Okay, for me, he scored a second goal of the game. He scored a lot of penalties this season. Some people call him a penalty merchant. I don't really believe that. I do like him, and maybe you know he does score a few tap-ins here and there as well, but it is those goals. A goal's a goal at the end of the day. And for me, he's been helping Leeds United so regularly this season in the Premier League. He's don't get me wrong. I think he's one of these strikers that do have purple patches again, a little bit similar to like a Danny Welbeck in that aspect. But should he be the second striker for England in the World Cup? Let me know in the comments down below. But you know, if we just talk about from the build up from the 26th minute to the 75th minute, you know, again, West Ham were creating the chances to get back into the game, but they just couldn't get the ball over the line, could they? Jared Bowen was sort of, having a few shots here and there. He was creating chances for other players. The striker, Castellos, Adama Traore was very busy in this game, putting himself about, putting some fantastic balls in the box, running down the byline, you know, beating players and doing all this sort of good stuff, but he just couldn't get anything over the line either until the 90th plus 3 minute, okay, 93rd minute, okay, where Jared Bowen was on the right hand side, he cut inside from the outside of the box, okay, Arjen Robben-esque, okay, nice little curling shot, but unfortunately for him, it just hits off the bar and then it literally bounces back to Matthias Fernandes, who scored a nice little tap in, okay, lovely touch, just sort of, put the ball in the air and he just taps it straight past, um, you know, the Leeds United goalkeeper, Lucas Perry. So from that point of view, it was 2-1 at this point, and they had only a few minutes left to get an equaliser, and that's exactly what they did. And none other than lonely centre-back, Axel Disasi, okay, scored to make it 2-2, and honestly, I reckon this guy loves scoring a goal in a claret and blue shirt, just because he did it last season for Aston Villa, and he's now done it again this season for West Ham United. Honestly, he does come up clutch sometimes when he needs him the most, because he did it a few times at Aston Villa. And honestly, this goal, even though it wasn't the best goal you probably would have seen in your lifetime, it was the meaning behind it, what it actually meant, because it allows West Ham to sort of go into extra time, have another 15 minutes, 30 minutes to potentially go on and score a winner, potentially go on and go into the semi finals of the FA Cup. But unfortunately for them, they just couldn't make things happen. You could easily argue that West Ham should have won the game just because they had so many chances. They had all the possession. They had 53% possession compared to Leeds United's 47. They had 20 shots. They were dominating. They're piling on the pressure, and they also scored 2 offside goals. This is what I'm talking about. The drama of this game. This is why it was the best game, like I've watched this season. Just because, okay, listen to this, guys. You know, for me, I was thinking West Ham were going on and winning. Was going to go on and win it as soon as they scored that second goal was make it 2-2. I thought it was going to be all. I thought it was going to be all West Ham, okay, but I don't know what happened in extra time. They just couldn't make things work. Don't get me wrong; they did get a little bit unfortunate with the offside. I think the Brazilian striker was it is he called Tete? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I got that wrong. I do apologise, but he was like marginally offside. Okay, if you watch the replay, I think his shoulder was when he was leaning back a little bit. His shoulder was just offside. So it was so unfortunate because I could have made it 3-2, and it could have been a different game. Right, so in extra time, there wasn't really anything clear of note except from Leeds United's Italian winger Notto sort of almost coming clear cut to potentially score a third goal, a winner of the game. Okay, he came so close, but the ball he sort of just did like a nice little fake touch into the back of the net. Not a fake touch. What am I trying to say here? Like a nice little flick around the corner just to try and avoid the play, if you like. Anyways, but he came so close, but the ball just rolled wide, okay, and it was so unfortunate for him because he could have potentially gone down as a Leeds United cult hero if he scored a winner to send them through to the semi-finals for the first time in 39 years or whatnot. But obviously, that didn't really happen. But he had to wait a little bit longer for to sort of get Leeds United's moment, if you like. And at this point, it came down to penalty shootouts, where it was a nice little story for West Ham there. They got a nice debut for the goalkeeper in Finley Herrick, okay. And for me, this guy, he made a very good 1 or 2 saves in the penalty shootout. And for me, you got to watch out for him, okay. He could be a star player like in a few seasons' time. He could be their new goalkeeper because they do have a very dodgy record at the moment with some of their goalkeepers on their books, okay. Ariola, Hermerson, both of them aren't looking that great this season. That's probably why one of the reasons why they've been in the relegation battle. So Finley Herrick might be ones to watch for the future, like I just said. But anyways, the penalty shootout, it was looking a bit difficult for both teams. Jared Bowen in particular missing his penalty. I couldn't believe that. For me, it just wasn't Jared Bowen's day. Whatever he did just didn't really seem to work. He hit the post like 2 or 3 times. Yes, don't get me wrong. But, it's one of those shots did lead to the getting the initial goal from Matheus Fernandes. But when you think of Jared Bowen being Mr. West Ham West Ham's main player, I thought he probably would have at least scored his penalty, but it was a little bit unfortunate for the England star. So yeah, but again, it was going right down to the wire, and it sort of Leeds United did get the advantage because obviously West Ham missed one of their penalties, and Lucas Perry saved quite a few as well. So it came down to the last penalty for Pascal Struijk. Okay, hopefully I said his name right. I do apologise. The Dutch defender, of course, and he literally just slots it. Okay, right into the corner of the post, hits off the post and bounces straight back into the middle of the net. Okay, and he'll go down as a cult hero. Okay, for Leeds United, this team probably will go down as a cult hero because they've been fantastic this season. Honestly, haven't they? Even though they're like what 14th, 15th in the Premier League, they've still had a good run in the Premier League at the moment, and they've got a foundation now to build on for next season. And they only need 1 or 2 more players. Well, yeah, 2 or 3 more players, and I reckon they can make a charge for like mid-table or even top 10, maybe top 10 next season, and that's a very good start for Leeds United when it's their first season back in the Premier League, isn't it? You've got some big teams in there, haven't you? You've got Man City in there, you've got Chelsea in there, you've got Southampton as well. They've got to get a little bit lucky, maybe play and get a Southampton they could potentially go to the final. We just will have to wait and see what happens, okay? But yeah, before that, but yeah, let's end the video with some questions, okay? How do you feel about Leeds United in this game? How do you feel about West Ham as well? Was this one of the best games of the season? Am I being a little bit too over the top with it? How do you feel about some of the certain players in this game? Pascal Struijk getting the winners to send them through to the semi-finals. How do you feel about Adama Traore, Jared Bowen? How do you feel about Matthias Fernandes, Axel Disasi getting that second sort of equaliser to send them through to extra time and whatnot? How do you feel about Lucas Perry? How do you feel about Dominic Calvert-Lewin potentially being England's number 2 striker? And yeah, all that sort of good stuff really. But before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. It goes a long way helping me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 300 subscribers. Can we go and do my main target, 500? That is the big one. That's the next one we're going to work towards. And yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you for the recent support on our most recent episodes, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. Definitely going unnoticed. And yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you for the support, really. And I do hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.